So we're back outside, and I believe I told you about this here mistake. This here should only be 3/4, not 1.25 inches like all the rest of this. And so I'm going to, and I had lightning holes in it. So I covered them with crossing grain material, and then I'm going to skive this down, or not skive, cut down at an angle and cut this down to 3/4 and bring it back out right here. And the reason I'm outside mostly is because of the dust. We're going to be sanding, we're going to be shaping everything. And once we get it all shaped, oh, I do have to put these long gussets on, but to do that I need to shape these, form these first. So I figured I'd get that all done at once. Then I'll take it inside and put these gussets that glue from here on down. Well, it's cold as heck outside, but I needed to come inside anyways, because as I was cutting this to 3/4 inch, I realized, because it came apart, I hadn't gusseted this. So every time you put something together, and well before you cover it, you want to do multiple and final inspections on it. I did that with the horizontal stabilizer, but really the back side of that's not covered yet anyway, so there's still room for more inspection. I will do, every time I do something, I do a final inspection. I didn't do no final inspection because I'm still in process with this. There was no real inspection, just doing things as they needed done. But I discovered this here hadn't been gusseted because it came apart as I was trying to, oscillating saw puts a lot of vibration in there. So, especially out here at the end, it started rattling really good and shook that little time. That's the only place the glue is, because of this 12-degree angle. There's only glue right there. The first thing I did is I put it back in the fixture and put a line. Put it back in the fixture and ran it right along its line and made sure that it was going right back to where it was. And it is almost perfect, but just to be sure, I put a pencil line in there. So now as I glue that up and pull that in to re-glue it, I know that it's not going downhill, because I have had a FP202 where the rudder actually it was sloped the other way, coming down this way in the front. This here section right here, I had to shave kind of thin, not dangerously thin, but I had to shave some off. And then it just always wanted to start clicking right there. So we gotta get a block that's 90 degrees, and then going up this angle of 12 degrees, which it is exactly 12. So got a 12 degree, and this isn't quite 90 either. So of course you just use some hand sand it with paper. And this is something I'm gonna have to do just one side at a time. It would be nice to put both blocks on and bring them, but when you do that and you're working back and forth, one of these is going to get squished and slid. You want a nice tight joint. Every gusset you want nice and tight like that. And more creative clamping. This is very light clamping. Barely push it in, and just to where I can feel a little bit of pressure in the screw. Very light pressure. And then this here clamp going at an angle keeps it that direction and that direction because of the angle it's on. And then that little clamp doesn't look like much holding it down. That little clamp, it's really tight. Cheap Home Depot, Harbor Freight clamp. Real stiff little clamps. And on the bottom side, we've got this large gusset put on. I didn't bother cutting it. I'll just, after it's dry, I'll just trim it right along the bottom edge there. And that's this gusset right here. And of course I started by making a rib before I started anything else.